Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. We end July with the gains achieved in the Bangsamoro peace process under the Marcos administration. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says the Philippines is on the right track to building a more peaceful and prosperous Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Mindanao, or BARMM. Speaking in today's turnover of the 3rd Intergovernmental Relations Body, or IGRB Progress Report in Malacanang, the President expressed hope that the country will overcome the remaining challenges towards developing a more peaceful and prosperous BARMM. He touted several transformative reforms, including the commissioning of former Moro rebels to the police force, the granting of amnesties to qualified former Moro combatants, the turnover of various properties and assets of the national government within the BARMM, and a signing of the Intergovernmental Energy Board Circular for joint petroleum service contracts in the region. Marcos also urged Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, co-chair of the IGRB and the only Muslim in the cabinet, to expedite the manual of operations and resolve issues before the first BARMM parliamentary elections next year. President Marcos said that the manual will facilitate proactive monitoring and establish a system of continuity for the Bangsamoro government. BARMM's first parliamentary elections will be held simultaneously with the May 12, 2025 midterm elections. The Philippines will expand its maritime cooperative activities with Japan, Australia, and other friendly nations, according to Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. Speaking at the 2+2 Foreign and Defense Ministerial meeting in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City, Teodoro emphasized the importance of strengthening maritime cooperation and expanding coordination with like-minded nations through joint exercises and training. He also highlighted efforts to enhance the cybersecurity capabilities of the Department of National Defense and the Armed Forces of the Philippines by upgrading not only capabilities, but also cooperation in threat detection, protection, and joint advanced technological development. Teodoro also thanked the U.S. government for its continued assistance in building the Philippines' capabilities, which will help establish a credible deterrent against unlawful foreign aggression. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III says the Philippines and the United States are working to conclude and sign a key military intelligence sharing deal by the year-end. During the event, Austin says both nations are committed to making the defense alliance even more secure through technology and security and cyber cooperation. According to a U.S.-Philippine joint statement following the 2+2, the General Security of Military Information Agreement would lay the foundation for enhanced, expanded, and timely sharing of information and defense technology. Teodoro meanwhile says the deal would serve as a tool to help the Philippines develop its operational security. On the dialogue, Austin, Teodoro, Foreign Minister Secretary Enrique Manalo, and U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken also agreed to advance cybersecurity cooperation by investing in the capabilities of the Philippines. This involves the offering a combined cyber range and training platform, as well as on-demand training to develop and sustain a competent cyber workforce. Both governments will also be hosting a nuclear supply chain forum in Manila this November, where top companies from U.S. will join the government and private sector stakeholders to discuss partnership opportunities. The Philippine Coast Guard expects to continue seafoaming operations to extract the oil from the sunken empty Terra Nova off Limay, Bataan. This as the Coast Guard sealed 18 of the 24 valves of the tanker that would have leaked its cargo of 1.4 million liters of industrial fuel oil. The PCG adds the oil leak is now at less than 1 liter per hour. Observation from area surveillance suggests minimal oil sheens from Ground Zero and off coast of Metro Manila, Cavite, Bulacan, and Pampanga. However, the ocean water in some barangays in Limay has been deemed no longer safe for swimming and fishing. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources said a fishing ban in relation to the oil spill is now up to local government units. Right now, only the Bataan provincial government has enforced a fishing ban. BFAR said fish samples from Bataan were tested for traces of oil and have so far passed the sensory analyses. More tests will be done to detect the presence of oil, grease, and contaminants. The BFAR also said a clean-up operation may have to be launched for the affected nearby shores. The BFAR estimates about 351 million pesos in loss of income for all registered fisheries in Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and Calabarzon if the oil spill continues to spread for 22 days. The Agriculture Department is ready to help fisher folks in areas hit by the oil spill. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Laurel said that the DA may utilize part of the fund intended for fuel subsidies or at least 1 billion pesos from its Quick Response Fund. The Department of Agriculture expects to roll out the AVAC live vaccines against the African swine fever on the third quarter of the year. This came after the Food and Drug Administration released on Tuesday the Certificate of Product Registration for the AVAC live vaccines from Vietnam. DA Secretary Francisco Laurel Jr. said they have allocated 350 million pesos for the procurement of the vaccines. About 600,000 doses will be distributed for growers, with 150,000 of them already available for rollout on August and September. The Bureau of Animal Industry says as of July 26, 150 barangays in the country are classified as red zones or those with active ASF cases. 476 cities and municipalities have been upgraded to pink zones or buffer areas close to infected zones. FDA Director General Samuel Zacate assured safety of AVAC live vaccines, saying these have undergone clinical trials for about 2 years. Meanwhile, the DA allayed public fears following reports of an alleged avian influenza or bird flu outbreak in Tarlac. Agriculture Assistant Secretary Constante Palabrica said BAI has already received blood samples from 3 farms in Tarlac, which are now undergoing testing for bird flu. The result is expected to come out this week. Should the sample test positive, he assured control measures are in place to stop the positive spread of avian flu. For his part, Laurel said the BAI has not received any official report from the local government. He assured that a positive result would not significantly affect the country's egg supply. In other news, the European Union has released 1.2 million euros or 76 million pesos worth of humanitarian aid for victims of floods that hit Mindanao over the past month. The EU delegation in Manila said the funding would help address the most pressing needs of those hardest hit by the effects of the southwest monsoon and the intertropical convergence zone. The allocation will be used for emergency relief, specifically food, access to safe water, sanitation, and other essential services. This new aid comes in addition to the 3.1 million euros that the EU already allocated to the Philippines earlier this year. EU Commissioner for Crisis Management Yanis Lenarchik says the bloc is stepping up its assistance to the most affected populations. The southwest monsoon brought heavy to intense rains over Mindanao in mid-July, affecting more than 99,000 families and causing floodings in Zamboanga Peninsula, Sacsargan, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Masling, Mindanao. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Serbisha Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am Brianna Fernandez and this is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.